Legends. The podcast about Urbane Legends. Meet your host, that's right. Neil Chris Hutler. The ink dries on rocks. Cherry blossom hits my eyes. It's Urbane Legends. Hello and welcome to Urbane Legends. I am Haiku Master Chris Flynn, and with me, he's come all the way from Brighton and he's very well supported. Tonight, he is going to be performing as Robbie Williams, singing Angels. It is Mr.
Neil Herbert. Neil Herbert.
Neil Herbert. Lovely. How you doing, Neil?
That was my karaoke Robbie Williams impression.
Very good.
Yeah, good, thank you. Very good.
Yeah, why did you decide to come on Stars for Your Eyes as Robbie Williams? Because you look now like him.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, well, he's
Very
popular, one of our greatest entertainers, isn't he? He's a popular lad.
Oh,
you know, everyone loves that Angels song.
Mm-hmm. I want it played at my wedding and my funeral.
Yeah.
My second wedding.
Funnily enough, be on the same occasion.
Might as well be. So what have you been up to this week? I understand when you're not performing in the local working men's clubs as a Robbie Williams impersonator, you're a scaffolder. Is that right?
Hod carrier, actually, Chris.
Hod carrier, not scaffolder yet.
A little bit of scaffolding on the side, you know, cash in hand, do what you like.
Lovely.
But, you know, technically now I'm more of a hod carrier, yeah.
Do you work on Irish-only sites, like in the 80s? Where it's all cash in hand, so you don't pay any tax because you're supporting the Republican movement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. Just pay the tithe, you know.
Yeah. Nice stuff. So, have you had any hilarious incidents while you've been carrying bricks over your shoulder recently? Anything fun like that? Has maybe a dog got on the site or something?
Yeah, funnily enough, yeah, I was
someone put a brick in a sandwich.
I was drunk, obviously,
yeah,
a dog came over. I sort of like tripped over a bit. My bricks all fell down, and straight into.
Look
Frank's
at him, the
head.
idiot, Neil! You've dropped your bricks. Something like that.
I mean, there were 3 fatalities, so probably not that funny, but you know,
2 of them
we all laughed about it. Those of us that were still alive.
Yeah, well, it's life's cheap on the construction sites of the 1980s, isn't it?
Give us a story for the wake, Chris. The wakes.
Yeah. How did the wakes go? Have a lot of Guinness?
And we couldn't have an open coffin, obviously, because, you know.
They were very ugly.
Yeah.
Don't want to scare the kids.
Well, like their family. Yeah, you know, usual thing. It's a
pauper's funeral.
It's fun. Yeah, we
unmarked graves.
We put them in the foundations of the house that we were building.
Lovely.
So, yeah,
that's good. Saved on a bit of cement, didn't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Every penny counts.
That's just money in your pocket. That's
I call it
around
wake. I mean, yeah.
Very nice. And that's something for everyone in London whose house was built in the 80s to think about. To be honest, we've made all that up. I don't think there are lots of...
I think it's entirely fictitious.
Well, is it or isn't it? I don't know.
Well,
it could be true.
You decide. Could be another urban myth, couldn't it?
Could be another urban myth that we've just made up. Who knows? So, Neil, this week we're going to be looking at quite a new urban legend. It's kind of spooky pasta, but also it's quite widely reported. And so it kind of got national attention or international attention because there was a Netflix TV series about this crazy hotel in LA, which is meant to be kind of haunted, and there's been quite a few mysterious deaths there.
Okay.
And there was...
is this a fictitious recounting, or
no, this is true.
A documentary?
It is an actual documentary.
Yeah.
And they don't say that it was because of the urban legend, but people said, hey, that's what was going on there is a bit like this urban legend.
Make your own mind up, yeah.
So the urban legend is the elevator game, which is from Korea and Japan originally, the spooky tale. But it kind of got worldwide attention when this documentary in Netflix was looking into the mysterious death of a young woman called Elisa Lam.
Okay, because you said come from Korea, but the documentary was a US-based hotel.
Yes, but she is of Korean descent.
Okay.
So I'll tell you about her mysterious death first. It's very sad, obviously, but she was acting very strangely there's like CCTV of her in the elevator.
Coming out TVs and stuff.
Huh? Coming out TVs
and stuff.
No,
probably watched a bit too much J horror in my time.
At that point, she wasn't haunted.
Fine.
But yeah, let's. Oh, no, not the lamp over there. Because I've got loads of lamps all around me. It's like Aladdin's cave. It could have been a poltergeist which had haunted me and made my arm do that, despite the fact I'm wearing a David Soul t-shirt. So let's bear in mind that this is actually a real death. So, this person did die tragically. So I'm not going to chuckle it up too much about her death, but
not too much, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. Got
a few belly laughs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to laugh about it. So, and this is from The Sun. So that's a big.
Okay, so this is going to get a respectful airing.
It's a big rubbish tabloid newspaper in England, but it does give us a little bit of background of the documentary and how it connects with the urban legend of the elevator game.
Fair enough.
So the elevator game is a creepy activity which sees the player given the chance to enter another world. With a new documentary on a mysterious death of Elisa Lam in 2013 that rocked the web, coming out on Netflix, it's been questioned whether she played the game before she died. So yeah, this is one as well. So this is one of the earlier instances of, you get kind of internet sleuths where, so it's kind of, people going on
this. Say, such and such a thing, you can go and use a Ouija board or something like that, and they'll try and demonstrate it for, views or what have you, presumably. But first, so you don't have to go and hunt down a ley line or something like this or do the real detective work. You can just get in an elevator and presumably follow some rules and then it'll take you to another world.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
that's a big selling point because those ley lines are inconsistent.
I'll go into it in a bit, but so the background is the numbers which are pressed in the order are numbers.
They spell out death in Chinese or something,
which would be weird. They're different places, Neil.
Keep telling me that
they are numbers which have significance for. Haunting, getting people.
Like once the date the Overlook Hotel burned down or something.
No, they've got back in Korean sort of folklore. Numbers are significant in East Asia.
Like some numerology type thing.
Yes, it's like a numerology thing, and these numbers are significant in for doing a haunting or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
It's like a spooky bingo.
Spooky bingo. So what is
66?
66.
Kids.
What is Legs 11? Slender Man. So what is the Korean elevator game? The elevator game is believed to have originated in Korea. It's an odd ritual with a strict set of rules, which we will go through in case anyone wants to play
the rules.
And I encourage everyone to have a go at it.
Absolutely.
And I accept no responsibility if anyone ever does anything which I suggest. That said to bring you to another world. The game must be played by one person in a building with 10 floors. The rules tell a player to move up and down different floors before they are said to encounter a woman on the 5th story who should not be interacted with at all costs. I mean, that's just general elevator etiquette, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to be an elevator creep. Can I just ask, does she have a spooky face or a missing jaw or crawling out of a TV?
You currently have as much information as I do, Neil.
Fair enough.
According to the guidelines, if the elevator descends to the first floor, according to the guidelines, if the elevator then descends to the first floor, the player must exit immediately. If it goes up, the player has apparently been admitted to another world. People have been warned not to try playing the game as it's dangerous. So, was Elisa...
I just want to check one thing there then. So it says if it goes down to the ground floor, just get off immediately. Because presumably you've not been invited.
No.
So therefore, trying to stay in, it's going to go badly wrong for you there,
Yes.
presumably. Yeah, okay.
Was Elisa Lam playing the Korean elevator game? Elisa Lam, 21, was a college student at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
Lam had headed on a West Coast trip alone on January 26, 2013, via an Amtrak train from San Diego to Santa Cruz, California. She made a pit stop in Los Angeles and decided to check into the Cecil Hotel and was due to check out on the 31st of January, but never did. Her family were already wary that she was alone and decided to call the LAPD. Cops searched the hotel but could not find Lam anywhere in the premises. Authorities then decided to review surveillance footage and realised Lam had stepped into the elevator on the day of her disappearance. In the footage, Lam could be seen acting strangely as she steps into the elevator and begins pressing every button on the panel. She eventually steps out, pokes her head out to see who is in the hallway, and does that a few times until she decides to walk out completely. The last of the video shows her standing by herself on the left side of the door, waving her hands and making random gestures. She's not seen talking to anyone, and this is the only one captured on tape. The video made the rounds on the internet and amassed over tens of thousands of views, as many found her behaviour in equal parts strange and chilling. It was the last footage of Elisa alive, and it's unclear how she died. Authorities found no evidence of physical trauma in an autopsy report. Additionally, the only notable findings in the toxicology report were multiple different medications to treat her bipolar disorder, but there was no presence of alcohol or illegal drugs in her body at the time. So they've jumped ahead there and they haven't said how she was found. So we're going into that now.
Yeah, because I was assuming that, she just suddenly disappeared, something like that.
No.
I was going to ask if there was CCTV outside the lift.
No.
No. Sounds like there wasn't.
There was only CCTV in the lift. Maintenance worker Santiago Lopez found Lam's body floating in one of the hotel's water tanks on February 19th, 2013, after several hotel guests complained about the low water pressure and weird taste in the tap water.
Oh, dear.
She was discovered wearing the same clothes she had on the elevator, surveillance footage, and her body barely had any blood due to decomposition. An LA coroner issued the findings of accidental drowning with bipolar disorder as a significant factor. So, there's other bits around it, because I've watched this documentary ages ago, and it would have been very difficult for her, but not impossible, I don't think, for her to get in there. I mean, it's...
Yeah, you would think that would be quite difficult. So you wouldn't think it would be terribly accessible. I mean, obviously people need to maintain these things, but
yeah, I think people go up on the roof for a fag and that kind of thing. I think the staff go up there to smoke, so I don't think the door was locked to go out there.
Okay, yeah.
So,
but you could have access. And is that like presumably it's one of these ones where they do it for the water pressure, don't they? So it's like up on the roof,
yes,
and then it's
like the Warner Brothers water tower thing.
It stores the water, and then okay.
Yeah.
You climb up on a ladder or something.
So that's what kind of brought the elevator game to sort of, because some people started suggesting that she'd been playing that. So let's dive into what the elevator game actually is.
Okay.
So we've got two options here. I can just read you how to do it. So if you want to do it, then you can save this podcast and I'll read you through the directions.
Right, just live stream and let's know how you get on, really.
Or I can. So there are lots of different accounts of people doing it. So and writing down what how it went and that kind of stuff. So which would you prefer?
Other option. So my first option is you're going to read me the rules.
Just read you the rules.
Yeah, and what's my other option?
I'll read you an accounts of some people doing it. Or should we go one then the other?
Yeah, let's do one then the other. So firstly, let's figure out how we're going to.
Okay, so I'm going to read
activate ghost mode.
I'm going to read the elevator game, what to know and why you shouldn't do it, from the website scarymarmy.com. Scary mommy. Okay, so this is by Deirdre Kane.
Somebody's not getting any dinner.
No, Mom!
Yeah, that has some terrible
Mommy's open a second bottle of vino. Get into Belltown. So this was originally published by Deirdre Kane on the... Oh, they've got the... They do their dates the weird way, don't they? So it was the 11th of May 2020 and updated on the 23rd November 2021. So fairly recently. So it's a hot topic now, a hot potato. What are you going to do with it? Catch it. Move it on.
Ooh, nice.
So I won't do this in an American mom voice, or should I? Why do people love to scare themselves?
Let's not.
Everyone loves an adrenaline rush. The currently trendy, but certainly not new, way people are getting their hearts racing outside of Halloween is with a game called the Elevator Game, or the Elevator to Another World. The game seems to have originated in Korea and seems creepy as hell. If you think
this can't be fun, why have they sent you to hell?
Well, hell might be fun. Who knows? Yeah. I mean,
Note for our US readers, not only do we think that your dates are the weird way around, as Chris put it, but we call elevators lifts.
They are compared to everywhere else in the world.
Fair enough. I don't know what everyone else did. Well, was it day, month, year, isn't it? That's how
because
that day, year.
Yeah, because
it makes kind of more sense when you think about it like that to me. But then I grew up with it. So,
day, month, year? Yeah, but that's going up. So day being going the smallest to largest.
The smallest unit of time, and then
not going medium, small, large. You kooky guys.
Do it backwards. What can they?
Backwards, yeah.
Databases.
I've just dropped something. Don't worry, listeners, I found it.
We're already manifesting several signs. We've had a lantern moving. We've had droppage.
Yeah,
we're opening up some kind of, I don't know.
Despite the fact
there's some kind of uncanny powers at work here, I think.
Despite the fact I've got my David Soul boxer briefs on.
Yeah. Well, you're just getting like that early Alzheimer's we kept talking about.
Did we? So, if you think you're the only one searching for this, you're not. I'm just going to read this verbatim. So,
hello.
Hello. You're not.
Not even.
You're not. According to the latest search data available, the Elevator Game is searched for 33,100 times a month. A month! If you follow the rules carefully, a couple of things may happen. You may meet a woman who will enter the elevator and whom you should apparently ignore at all costs. Well, that's just standard British behaviour, isn't it? And if you get off on the 10th floor, you might enter another world.
I'm wondering what happens if you don't obey the rules, but yeah.
Exactly. Listen, elevators are relatively safe inventions. They're meant to go up and down in all kinds of orders with numerous stops. I mean, this is some new information to me.
Explaining what lifts are, that's good.
Playing this game probably isn't putting any extraordinary stress on the elevator. That said, you'll be in the elevator for an extended period of time.
Yeah, somebody
oxygen.
Shove a bottle of nitrogen in there or something. Suffocate you.
And that always comes with greater risk. What if there's a fire or the power goes out? The elevator is the last place you want to be. Yeah,
you spend the minimum amount of time in an elevator.
What if a meteor hits? You don't want to be in an elevator.
Well, ironically, then you rush for the elevator. That's the safest space. Neil, circumstance.
This next point is one which you brought up before we started this podcast, which makes me think that perhaps you should be writing for scarymoami.com.
Well, I might.
Plus, honestly, playing the game just creates a nuisance for people who actually need to use the elevator and go about their business.
Yeah, it would fuck me off if somebody was pissing about playing the elevator game. I'm just trying to get up, go to sleep.
Go to sleep where? You live on
a hotel, presumably.
Also,
if I'm going into a building that's got, like I'm on the 12th floor of a travel lodge or something, just come back from a really.
Well, you'd be fine because this can only be played where there are 10 floors. So
You
you'd
not
be
get
all
a
right.
Travelodge with more than 10 floors?
No, you can go to a Travelodge with more than 10 floors, but this game can only be played in buildings with only 10 floors.
Oh, it has to be exactly 10 floors.
Yes, or nine floors in England because we have ground floor where they have first.
Yeah.
So, also, Neil, on the off chance this crap is real, why on earth do you want to summon ghosts or enter other creepy worlds? We don't advise playing. However, if you're curious, these are the rules according to multiple sources and creepy game sites. But with special attention to the ghost in my machine because they didn't include any creepy pictures.
This is a bit nudge, nudge, wink, wink, isn't it? Yeah, you shouldn't do it for all these reasons. Here are the rules. It's how you get portal to hell.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm assuming you end up in hell. I don't know. It might be a nice place. Okay.
You don't end up anywhere. No, I think where you end up is like it's an alternate kind of a slightly different reality. So I've read what happened. So it's an alternate reality.
Meet the man from Taureg.
You could meet the man from Taureg. It could be Taureg.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm
writing that down. To go to Taureg, so that's nice.
Go Taureg.
I didn't think we'd be able to do a field visit there, but now we can via the elevator again.
Well, we will
presumably you can then come back. Yeah,
maybe you can.
Or can you?
You can, but again,
would you just keep like Quantum Leap going to different dimensions?
Oh boy!
How do I end up this time?
So apparently, what I've read,
backwards world.
Hamburgers eat people.
Oh. The apes run this world.
I'll probably stay here. Do all right.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'll give it a crack, to be honest with you. Climate's probably a bit better.
So apparently it's like our world, but all the lights are out. Your electronic devices won't work. And on the horizon, there's a red cross. That's what I've read. That's what I've read you see if you go out into the world.
Fundamentalist Christian world.
It's just basically Alabama. Right. So, need to play. Here's the instructions. 1 player. There are conflicting reports on this, that it can play with others. One set of instruction, we found that you can, but keep in mind that if anyone quits mid-ride, you have to start from the beginning. Reset. So it's basically like doing a mission on GTA Online. For fuck's sake, I've quit out again.
Is there not a checkpoint?
So, a 10-story building with at least 1 elevator. That's surprising.
Yeah. In order to do this, you're going to need an elevator or a lift. Yeah. Don't try and do this in a basement.
Don't try this in a park.
Yeah.
So, how to play
It's not good for the elevator game. You can try. But,
you could try. Give it a go. But not a lot of buttons. Not a lot of buttons in the forest. So, how to play the elevator game. Getting to the other world. Neil, are you ready?
Yeah. It's going to be tedious, isn't it?
Yeah. And so,
That's what we love.
See,
that's our sweet zone.
Tedious.
Fucking tedious.
Tedious Legends.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Tedious Legends.
So I promise to you, the listener.
So the thing is, right, as you may or may not know, I don't really like puzzle games. So when you've got to do stuff in a certain order, I get quite annoyed. The most puzzle I would put up with is, so there's a little puzzle bit on Mass Effect Andromeda where you have to fill in like a grid with symbols and they can't match. Like
mini games can fuck off.
Yeah,
that whole notion as to let's have a poorly designed game that you have to play.
Well, basically, it's like very
lock picking thing.
Yeah, it's like very simple. It's like very simple Sudoku, and you need to do that to open some vaults. But that's about as far as I go.
Months or years later than everyone else, I finally got into Wordle. Always good.
I've not, and I don't plan to.
No, fair enough.
So, enter the elevator alone. Or with your friends, but no one else. So no strangers. Only people who are in on it. Do not get out on any of the floors.
You've got to commandeer the elevator then. So.
Commandeer the elevator.
Yeah. Everyone else out. So get the fire off. Probably set the fire alarm off. Make sure no one else.
Take a knife with you or something.
Yeah.
So do not get out on any of the floors. If any outsiders get on the elevator, you need to start over. So you want to be doing this when it's not busy. Proceed to the 4th floor. Descend to the 2nd floor. Proceed to the 6th floor. Return to the 2nd floor. Ascend to the 10th floor. Return to the 5th floor. When you reach the 5th floor, that is when people report encountering a young woman, the spooky girl. When you reach the 5th...
You couldn't get strangers on, but when this one comes on, that's a sign that you've
done all right.
You're all right. Yeah.
When you reach the 5th floor, you're instructed not to look or interact with her. She may or may not try talking to you, asking for help, or antagonize you. Press the button to the 1st floor. 2 things may happen.
You don't react to, like, she might ignore you, but you don't react if she tries to sort of like,
antagonize you. Oi.
Yeah.
Oi, prick, your haircut looks stupid. Where'd you get your suit from? The dump? Something like that. Really cutting stuff. Because you'd wear a suit to play the game. So, 2 things might happen. The elevator descends to the 1st floor. Then you exit immediately and don't look back or speak. If the elevator starts to go up, you've been allowed into the other world. When you reach the 10th floor, things may look slightly different. No one else will be there. The power may be out. And some players claim to look out windows and see only a red cross in the distance. If you choose to exit the elevator, you should ignore the woman's attempt to question or stop you. So, I know what you're thinking, Neil, because I know how your mind works. What happens if you talk to the woman in the elevator game? Yeah, bang on the money?
I was thinking, has anyone come back yet? But that's another one. Yeah. You know me, I want to break the rules. I want to know how.
No,
so obviously, if I don't do the floors thing, then just nothing will happen. Which is
you're like a paranormal Fonz, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you've heard one thing about the elevator game from friends or well-meaning strangers on the internet, is there such a thing?
Yeah.
It's probably not to acknowledge the woman in the elevator under any circumstances. There's a lot of lore surrounding this part of the game. Some say the woman appears to them as someone they know. Some people swear that even just looking at the woman led to damning consequences. The writer suggests the woman followed her home. Ooh, doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Take it where you can get the sunshine. Cool. Yeah, it's getting hot in here. Don't mind if I take my t-shirt off.
The Aerosmith song was about.
Is any of this true? You could test the theory to find out. But we sure don't recommend it.
I mean, to be honest with you, at the point when you've done all this shit, like, so it's your 10th time going round because people keep getting on and what the fuck are you going up and down? Just can't go up and down the lift all fucking day. But you finally managed to do it in sequence so that actually no one else has actually got on any of those floors. Pretty rare in lifts. So let's say we're doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning so that no one's getting up and down. I mean, if somebody did get on the 5th floor, you'd probably shit yourself, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty eerie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd be like, I hope it's going down to the 1st because I want to get off.
No, you're going to Red Cross. You're going to the Red Cross.
Red Cross party.
You're going to Alabama, boy.
You've been accepted, boy. Just have that.
You in the club. So, returning from the other world. If you choose to stay in the elevator and not explore...
Oh, hang on a second. What have we discovered what happens if you speak to lift lady? Yeah.
Well, it says...
Just don't.
Don't basically follow. She might follow you home for a good time.
Oh, she might follow you home. That's it. Sorry, that was... I mean, that's... Yeah.
But I've heard different... Well, I think there are different things of what happens, but again...
You end up in a water tank, don't you?
You end up in a water tank. Nothing to do with being off your bipolar meds.
No.
Returning from the other world. If you choose to stay in the elevator and not explore, press the button for the 1st floor and return home. You might have to keep pressing the button to get it to work. If you choose to get off the elevator and explore, which you do now, there are a few rules to follow in order to properly return to your home world.
I mean, say what you like about otherworldly Alabama, but, good barbecue.
Barbecue, good shine.
Yep, can you imagine?
Yeah.
What you'd have in...
Banjo music. Yeah, good. I won't go any further.
Leave it there.
So, 1, you must use the same elevator you used to arrive. Simple. Way in, way out.
Yeah.
2, follow steps 2 to 7, so floor sequence 2, 4, 6, 2, 10, 5. 3, when you reach the 5th floor, press the button, return to the 1st floor. The elevator will attempt to return to the 10th floor instead. Begin pressing the other floor numbers to stop the elevator before you reach the 10th floor. Proceed to the 1st floor again. So we'll try and take you back, and you've just got to panic and press all the buttons until the elevator stops. Upon reaching the 1st floor, check your surroundings, Neil. Keep your head on a swivel. If anything seems off, even the smallest detail, do not get out of the elevator. Repeat step 2, 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, until things look normal. Once you're confident you've returned to the real world, exit the elevator.
I mean, I can't be sure there wasn't a cacodemon in the lobby, but I don't think there was. So, having said that, I've forgotten the sequence now, so I'm probably just going to get off. Take my chances. probably was there. Yeah.
If you go ahead with the game and you want to find out more about it, here are some first-hand accounts on Reddit, hyperlink, you can read, and another one, hyperlink. If you believe in the paranormal, just reading about the elevator game and its aftermath will send chills down your spine.
Hang on a minute, Chris. You say there's some users on Reddit who've experienced it. I assume there's some straight-up advice here that could be useful.
Yeah, we have tried to avoid using Reddit so far, haven't we? So we can probably carry on that for now.
Yeah.
So we start running out of stuff to say.
Yes, yeah.
The concept of this game is so scary, it inspired a Korean horror flick not too long ago, and also inspired the short film you can watch on YouTube if you dare. Here's some tips. Oh, that's nice. They're giving us some tips at the bottom here. Elevator game tips. This game requires playing on a machine that isn't really supposed to be a toy. However, there are some other dangers to keep your peepers on. When messing around with the paranormal, your phones and electronic devices may not work, so make sure someone knows where you are. Okay, Neil? You may become disorientated or forget which elevator you arrived in. That's quite usual for you. Try and stay focused. It's the only way out.
I've got very little chance of coming back from the other world, truth be told, especially without any kind of mobile device.
If you pass out or faint, you may wake up at home, but make sure you're really at home. It could be the spirit world in disguise. Again, say nothing to the stranger woman you see. Don't even look at her. So they've suggested some other spooky games here, but I'm not going to read those for now. So that's how you play it, Neil. Shall we hear a first-hand account?
I would very much like to hear that.
There's someone here who says...
Firmly established, you know.
There's someone here from thoughtscatalog.com, and they said they played the elevator game and they did it wrong, and this is the one where the woman follows her home. So, this is by Anonymous. Back on the 27th of December 2016, that lovely slow period between Christmas and New Year. Right. First off, before I say anything else, I want to make it absolutely clear that under no circumstances should anyone play the elevator game to the other world. If you're curious about it, then please just stop. And if you tried it before and it didn't work, then please, please, please don't try it again. I've tried it, and now I've tried it now, and I'm pretty sure I'm fucked. Well, you're right in this, so you're not that fucked. So I mean,
I'll just take some time out. Just warn some people to do a bit of public service before. Yeah.
Here's how it started. About a year ago, I was reading about the death of Elisa Lam and happened upon a couple of websites about the elevator game, and a lot of conjecture that Elisa had been playing this game prior to her disappearance. For those not familiar with the case, she was later found dead in a water tank on top of the hotel where she was last spotted. Just prior, she'd been seen acting really strangely in one of the building's elevators. The CCTV of it can easily be found if you're really interested, but anyway, that's what got me mildly interested in playing the elevator game. I read
it worked out well for her. Might as well give it a crack myself. Yeah. I quite like drowning in a water tank. Could be all right.
I read the instructions of how to do it in a few different places. There were slightly different versions. I don't know why.
Okay, so there's not even consistent rules for how to do this.
And it creeped me out. I closed my browser, and then I did unnecessary detail. And then
I
shut down my computer. It was asking to do a Windows update, so I said update, then shut down.
Real in the trenches, kind of like new journalism stuff, innit? It's like...
And then, honestly, I didn't think about it again for months until I happened upon another article about it on this very website in May. It contained more info on the game than I'd seen in any one place before, and I became absolutely convinced the game was complete bullshit, being handed around the web as a quick way to get reads from people interested in Lisa Lam, unlike this article which I've written. The community that's obsessed with her is relentless. Like, they're really completely obsessed with her. That's true. That was kind of a big part of the documentary, is all the people, it being like one of those online sleuth things.
Because that does obviously add like a frisson of, because obviously a horrific kind of occurrence and all the rest of it. But I'm not seeing much in what happened to her to link her to. Did she play the elevator game? Well, doesn't seem like it.
Wow.
So did they have her going like up and down in the lift?
Yeah.
In the CC? Okay, so that's why people think she might have been playing the elevator game. Yeah. But
So,
she didn't go to another world, did she?
Well, I mean, she did.
Well, she went into a water tank, but anyway, yeah.
She did, but whether it was because of the elevator game or because of psychological issues.
Yeah.
Let's just say 50-50. I know because my boyfriend is one of them, and how I came to considering playing the game myself. So this is either by a lady or a gay man. I would have assumed this was some guy, to be honest, because it's always some guy in it.
Well, that's just,
just patriarchal talking, isn't it?
Yeah.
My boyfriend is sweet. He's kind, but he's also very into missing persons.
Yeah, you got to get in those qualifiers because it sounds a bit, you know.
And the idea of the paranormal being a real thing. These are things I find mildly interesting every once in a while, but they're not always on my radar like they are with him. Sounds like there's some cracks in this relationship, doesn't it?
No, I'll tell you what. I think she's just trying to go to the other world to get out of this unfulfilling relationship. She's so trapped in.
I've got trapped in this loveless
I've
relationship.
got to go to a parallel universe to get away from
I'm off to parallel Alabama.
Yeah.
Start fresh.
Other years much better. To bang on constantly about minding a murderer.
It's a bit more right wing. So one evening, when he wouldn't stop with the spooky Elisa theories, I asked him if he'd stop talking about it if I played the game and showed him it was fake. He agreed, and a bet was made. That's when I knew he thought it was fake too. If he thought it was real, there was no way he wanted me to play the game, which just goes to show how much of a distracting fantasy being interested in this stuff for most people. Well, you say that, but maybe he wasn't happy.
Gaslit you there.
Go on then, do it. Yeah, I reckon it's fake. Go on. Stick your hand in the blender.
Just his long con, just get someone to try and do it. So he wasn't going to do it himself. I don't want to go to another world. We'll prove it though. So I'll get the missus to do it.
Like, who would agree to the proposition that their girlfriend should play the game that could possibly result in them being stuck in another dimension forever? No one, that's who. Or your weird boyfriend.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I took notes on the game to take with me and identified a building where I thought I wouldn't draw attention to myself in any way that might cause me to mess up the game's order and thus be ruled invalid by my true believer boyfriend. I won't say which building it was because I wasn't supposed to be there and they likely don't want the attention, but it's in downtown Atlanta where I live. Should we speculate on what building it was?
Not familiar with downtown or uptown.
I reckon it was the Citibank building. I'm sure they've got a Citibank.
Fair enough. I'm going to speculate a hotel of some kind.
Really, what one? Hilton?
Yeah, fair enough. Best Western.
What are other hotel chains? Don't know. Don't know. No, can't think of any. It's been so long since I've been away.
Yeah, it has been a while. I was trying to think. There was that. No, I can't remember it now. There's this is like the Y Lodge or something like that. But no, there's some rich guy who's named a chain of hotels after himself.
Just haven't. Maybe it was the Carrollton. Could have been a Carrollton hotel, couldn't it?
Yeah, could have been.
It could have been the Arlington.
What's the largest building in Atlanta? I'm looking that up.
Well, there's going to be more than 10 floors, though, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Oh, it's got to be. So it's got to be exactly 10 floors.
Yes. 9 floors to us. 9 stories to us. 10 stories in America.
Atlanta.
It could have been the Drury Hotel.
10-story buildings. Yeah, so the Bank of American Plaza, that wouldn't be any good because it's 55 stories, Chris.
Ugh. Disgusting. It's just phallic nonsense.
And first off, that's going to be the trickiest thing, is finding something that's got
exactly the right amount of floors.
Exactly 10 floors. The Flatiron Building's got 11. That's the closest I can find.
Useless. Right, anyway. Back to it. Now, if you're familiar with the game at all, then you know there are concrete steps that have to be taken in perfect order to do it right. These steps are consistent across every version of the game I've read. The only things that aren't consistent are the consequences of doing the steps wrong and exactly what the other world is like. As a result, I was able to plan with confidence that there wouldn't be any questioning about doing it right or not later. It took about 20 minutes before I was able to take the elevator alone. It was a new elevator. The building's fairly new. Oh, that's another clue, Neil.
Oh, there you go.
Zooming in.
They're just dropping in these little hints, aren't they?
So it's fairly new, and this is from a year or so. So last couple of years. And there was nothing creepy about it. No music in the elevator, nothing. Elevator music is very creepy.
Any blood coming out of the elevator, nothing shining?
There was that, but nothing creepy.
That was a hint.
Music.
That was a hint.
So I started the steps of the game. So we know the steps. I'm not going to go through
What are you going to do? Take the stairs?
First floor, press button 4, don't get out. Second, don't get out. 6th, don't get out. Second.
We can elide over this, I think. Unless something happens in one of these.
Everything was dull until this point, which was the 5th floor.
Yeah, okay, this is where you're going to brick it.
I didn't hear anything at step 6 when I hit the elevator to take the button to the 10th floor. Then I started step 8 and fucked it up completely. What?
You're going to talk about the failed attempts.
Yes, as I had a failed attempt. It had been reported by some that a woman may enter the elevator on floor 5. She may appear as a stranger who wishes to engage with you. More importantly, she may appear as someone you know. It's important that you do not acknowledge her in word or glance. If the elevator you're in is reflective, then stare at the floor or at the buttons only. I'd stare at my watch.
Yeah.
A woman did get in on the 5th floor. The problem is that I never had an opportunity to not look at her because I was looking at the lights above the doors telling me which floor I was on, and it startled me when the elevator suddenly stopped. By then I was already looking at the door and she was getting on. Oh no, Neil.
One thing you have to do.
Idiot. Yeah, one thing. This was so stupid of me. It's so obvious that I should have been facing the corner where the elevator buttons are, not staring at the lights telling me which floor I was on the whole time. I immediately thought, okay, no biggie, this is bullshit anyway. But I have to tell you, I was extremely nervous and I hit the button for the 1st floor and the elevator started moving again. I made sure to look down at the floor and that's when she started talking.
Yeah.
She was
in a lift. There's nothing worse to an English person.
Oh. She was a tiny thing. I'd seen that as she got on. And pretty. Her hair was light blonde and she had striking green eyes and freckles. It sounds like you've had a good old good old
You've had a fairly close inspection.
She
I mustn't look. Oh, I'm not looking at you. You're looking at me. He's looking at her.
She started talking about how there'd just been an accident on the 5th floor and asked if I would go back with her to help. This was totally nonsensical. She'd just gotten on the elevator in the hopes that someone might be there to go and help. I didn't speak. It was too weird.
Jeez.
No way I was going to speak to her. Yeah, I mean, she could have just, it could have been a flashbang. Yeah. Confused her. Don't know. She said it again, and this time she sounded like she was getting angry. Again, I ignored her. The third time was very different. And I'm just going to warn viewers, I'm going to use I'm going to read this out, and it's got some swear words in, and I know we don't swear a lot. Hey, you fucking cunt bitch, I'm talking to you, you fucking cunt. Holy shit. I can't tell you how scary that was. The hair on my arms was standing up, and I got that dizzy, confused feeling when something seems really and truly dangerous and you get that first hit of adrenaline. Tony! I'm sure I'd moved completely into the corner of the elevator at that point. I know I was staring at the elevator buttons and wondering what was taking so long just to go 5 short floors. We should have already hit the 1st floor, but we seemed stalled on the 3rd, even though I could still feel the elevator moving. The next thing I knew, she'd gone from calling me a cunt to this kind of soft weeping. I think she just had a few too many gins. I would say that it sounded sad or even mournful, but the truth is that it didn't. It sounded despicable and pathetic. Oh, bad attitude. Remembering it now, the effect that her crying had wasn't to make me want to console her. The effect was that I suddenly found her disgusting. Cool. A lot of empathy. For no reason other than the sight of her crying, I suddenly found myself...
I got back to reading my Ayn Rand novel. Copy of the Fountainhead. Thinking about how awesome John Galt was. How much I despised weakness. Anyone else?
Suddenly found myself hating her, and she wouldn't stop crying.
And I'll be honest, love, you've chosen to spend your weekend riding up and down an elevator to see if fucking Reddit thing is true.
Yeah, to try and...
I wouldn't be casting aspersions on others. I mean, all right, she shouldn't have called you all those nasty things. If that had made you angry, fair enough. The fact that she's crying is what ticks you over the edge. That's a bit weird.
I could practically feel her body shuddering. She was crying so hard, and the wet sound of it seemed to fill the elevator, getting louder and louder until I simply couldn't take it anymore.
She not had a bit of an accident at this point.
Yeah. Hatred filled me, and I turned around and I yelled, "Shut up!" as I grabbed her by her blonde hair and smashed her head into the elevator door over and over again.
Fucking hell, this has escalated.
Fucking hell. Wow. Who's the real demon?
Is this a Reddit thing?
Well, this is from Thoughts Catalogue. It's been shared 461.5 thousand times. I couldn't stop myself.
Just how I got assaulted by a nutter. I just seen an accident, and I was confused, and I went into a lift. I just saw a lift sort of open up, and I sort of go in and see if whoever was in there might want to help, because I was sort of scared. And then,
so Neil, this gets worse. It's graphic. It's not for kids. It's visceral and kinetic. I couldn't stop myself. Blood splattered across the seam in the elevator door, and she still kept weeping. The sound rising up in pitch and shifting in pattern until it was no longer a cry, but a kind of cackle. Ooh. She was happy. Oh, God, no, I thought. She's happy. This is what she wanted. And then I realised that
Bit of S&M in the elevator. That's what the Aerosmith song was really about.
And like that, I realised that not only had I looked at her when she came through the elevator door, but that I had acknowledged her. And worse than that, I touched her, grabbed her, struck her. I'd given her what she wanted. And then, ding, the elevator door, and we arrived on floor 1. Turning. The woman's face was no longer that of a pretty young girl, but was the contorted in a face of pure pleasure. As if she had been relieved of a burden long carried. and she stepped off the elevator into the lobby, blocking my exit.
Ooh.
The door slammed closed, and the elevator began a rapid ascent. I pressed every button on the elevator's console, trying to stop it, but nothing responded. The buttons were dead. Faster and faster, the elevator ascended until, with a loud creak and squeaking of the cables, came to a complete stop. The floor indicator light read 10. The doors opened, and nothing. There was nothing. It was just the 10th floor of the building. On the right and left were offices with glass doors and windows. Inside, people answered phone calls or appeared to be in meetings. Just your basic stuff.
You've gone into an office building to do this. This is interesting.
Well, and it's the weekend. I suppose I might have been working on weekends.
Yeah.
I hit the elevator button for the first floor, and the elevator moved smoothly downwards. At the lobby, I stepped out and walked quickly out of the building and onto the street. I don't know what in the hell I just experienced, but I knew I didn't want any part of it.
Where's Ghost Lady at this point?
Well, we don't know yet, do we? I can't read the future now. I'm not a ghost lady.
Well, no, I just she was blocking her from getting off first, but now she's...
Yeah, she'd gone out and blocked. She'd gone out into she'd left the elevator, the ghost lady, blocked the exit, and then the doors were shut.
Oh, okay. I thought she was standing in the doorway sort of thing. Like inside the lift?
Well, no, she stepped out into the concourse.
Right, okay. And then she's not there when she gets down the next time.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I immediately called my boyfriend and told him what had happened on the elevator, and he just laughed and said he didn't believe me. God, it's really this relationship. He compared what I told him to all the things...
It's really fucking backfired your plans for the weekend, isn't it? I mean, it wasn't a good idea at the best of times, but yeah.
He compared what I told him to the things he'd read about Elisa Lam. He wouldn't listen to me at all. So caught up.
Hello. Clearly it says on Reddit that it's a dark-haired lady.
So caught up in his spooky little fantasies that all he could do was try and pick my story apart with the bullshit he'd read on internet forums. He said what happened to me was impossible and I was just making stuff up to try and win our bet. I hung up and shut off my phone.
How are they going to verify this bet then?
This is the part I need you to really listen to. Italics.
My ears are open.
They're pricked. This is the part that really matters. The next morning, after going to sleep in my own bed, I opened my eyes and I was standing in the middle of...
As opposed to what?
Well, no, you've got to listen to the end of a sentence before you critique it, Neil.
I'd like to jump into the middle.
The next morning, after going to sleep in my own bed, I opened my eyes and I was standing in the middle of an office building of some kind, fully dressed. The light was dim as I peered out of the window and I saw what can only be described as a dead city. A faint dim light on the horizon illuminated everything with a crimson sheen that glimmered like a greasy film in the low light. There was no sound. I don't mean it was quiet. I mean the place was absence of sound. Ahead of me was an elevator, and the floor indicator read 10. I pushed the down button to call the elevator in such a panic that sweat seemed to instantly cover my body. The elevator arrived, the door opened, I got in, and it took me down to the lobby where the low red light was gone, and in its place was the normal lobby I'd seen the day before, and it was morning. This has happened every night and morning for the past 10 nights. During the day, when I'm out of my apartment, I see the blonde girl's face in every crowd, but she always disappears once I try and focus on her. On the 6th morning that I found myself in the building, the elevator quit working, and I took the stairs down to the lobby, and I've taken the stairs every night since, but they get longer and longer. Yesterday morning, after walking down at least 50 flights of steps, I opened a stairwell door. So is she saying that she actually wakes... So this isn't a dream. She actually wakes up in this office building?
That's what she seems to be implying.
Right. Yesterday morning, after walking down these 50 flights of stairs, I opened the stairwell door. So her and her boyfriend aren't living in sin, are they?
I don't know.
Well, he's not bothered about it. It's like they're not... They're not
he sounds pretty inattentive anyway. Well, because didn't she say she woke up in her own bed, but then when she
no, she went to sleep in her own bed.
Oh, sorry. So yeah,
the opposite.
He would have been worried that she'd been missing 6 nights in a row. Yeah, presumably. Yeah.
like they're not
I
talking.
mean, he sounds pretty standoffish, so who knows?
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
My internet boyfriend. Yesterday morning, after walking down at least 50 flights of steps, I opened the small stairwell door at the floor I was on, and I was back on the 10th. And an Ursha-style office block.
Well, I'm just glad that she was able to access the internet in our realm.
Yeah. It took what seemed like hours to finally get out after that. I'm afraid that tonight I will be trapped. I can feel it in my bones that this is it. I will never be able to get out again. I've been trying to stay awake, but I never can, no matter how much caffeine I've had or what I'm doing. You want to have something a bit stronger than caffeine, love? Even worse, I saw the pretty young girl with blonde hair.
The cheapest whiz you can find.
The cheapest, dirtiest whiz.
Yeah.
I saw
keep you awake all night, don't worry.
Yeah, you'll be all right. I mean, the come down's going to be dreadful, but this is a life or death situation.
She's in the come down. Yeah. I saw this or Freddy Krueger. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Even worse, I saw the pretty young girl with the blonde hair 2 nights ago on the stairwell. I didn't see her clearly, but more like out the corner of my eye below me, and I could hear light footsteps. Diddle, 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 diddle. She's there. She's in the building with me. She has something in store for me. I'm sure of it. Please do not play
something good.
Please do not play this game, or it will be the end.
Like the cut your jib. We want you to be on the accounts manager. Yay! I always wanted that job. It's all worked out for the best.
So, don't play the game. It will be the end of you, Neil. Otherworld isn't something to be fucked around with like a hobby or a spooky thing to try and dare. It's a prison. And when I finally fall asleep, I know I will become its most recent resident.
And was that the last time that Spooky Girl 256 ever posted on Reddit?
This isn't on Reddit. This is on Thought Catalog.
Well, whatever. She's posted that to something, hasn't she?
Anonymous. Thought Catalog. Yes. That's it.
Oh, she set up a fucking like WordPress blog or something to tell us about this.
This is on.
Is that her last?
I don't know.
Is that the last post, or is there one like a day later that's like, oh no, I got it wrong.
It's under anonymous, so
took my meds and it's all fine.
That's it.
That's I did split up with my boyfriend though. He was really, found out that relationship wasn't going
anywhere.
anywhere.
A bit gaslighty for my taste. Yeah. So Neil, there you go. That's the elevator game. I reckon we should do it and film it. We've got to find a 9-story building.
The rules are a bit prick. I've got to find like a 10. If it wasn't for that, I'd be up for it. It's just that exactly. But yeah, we'll find somewhere with exactly 10 floors where nobody's going to be. Because the thing is, to me, I think the trickiest part is going to be like somebody not getting on.
Yeah, but to be fair,
I don't know about you, but anywhere where I've got in like elevators and stuff, normally there's people getting on at every floor.
Well, that's because you're thinking of during the daytime.
Yeah, so you don't. That's what I'm saying. But then you have to do it in the middle of the night. It's just going to be a hotel or something, isn't it?
Well, a block of flats. I'll tell you what, I'd be interested to know the amount of floors on those block of flats near me by Hove Station, because you can, they're just old council blocks. You probably get in there. There's no gate or anything. You can just go in the lifts on that.
Oh, you got to play the elevator game. Fucking hell.
Do you want any whiz? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, just in case.
I'll have a bit of cheap whiz. Why not? It's going to take a while to get through this. So, I mean, if you live in the UK and you know of any 9-story buildings, then or you've played the elevator game, then let us know.
If you've been successful with the elevator game, just let us know.
legends.podcast@gmail.com. But for now, Neil, we're going to go into our scoring system. So, Neil, you may go first with spookiness.
Spookiness. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think because there's a few different elements here. So I feel like a lot's been appended on by that one at the end. So the main sort of rule. So firstly, there's the this poor young woman who with the bipolar disorder who ended up in a water tank.
Yeah.
That's and they've sort of tied that in. So yeah, that's obviously really horrible. I mean, that adds a great deal to the spookiness, I think, because I think it was just somebody who sadly, had not been responding well to their meds or had been off their meds or whatever it was. that's obviously really sad. But the fact that that's really happened and had a horrific sort of thing that kind of adds obviously a lot to the spookiness part, and hence why the Netflix documentary, everyone getting obsessed with it. But what the canon seems to be that you end up in some alternative. Yeah, I suppose ending up in an alternative
Alabama.
Universe. Yeah, I mean that is
Sweet
pretty.
home Alabama.
I'd listen to a bit of Skinnard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In this universe, Skinnard is still alive, and you can go and see him and rock out. Mind you, they'd be a bit old now.
Well, not in this universe. This is the universe. It's a pocket universe which has been set up just to be inhabited by Skinners.
Yeah,
could be.
I'm liking it a bit more now.
So come on, Neil. Spookiness. There's a lot here, and
to be honest with you, so there is that. But
it's got a fair bit of spooky,
getting trapped in an alternative dimension. That's pretty spooky.
Ghost woman.
Yeah, and all of this stuff that he's putting. I mean, and then presumably you have a bit of a psychotic break because she started assaulting the ghost lady. I mean, she swore out. That's nasty. But
well, we don't know. We don't know this person's background. I mean, there could be.
Yeah, that's just how she says hello. It's by assaulting somebody in a lift. Yeah, that's all. I mean, it's got the ingredients here. I think it's this is probably one of the spooky ones that we've done. I mean, it feels a lot like it's kind of like been done for an internet audience, but I'm going to give it an 8. I think it is pretty spooky, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot to this. The fact that, I mean, we didn't really get into it, but the numerology thing being sort of that ties it to the sort of past beliefs as well. Mm-hmm. That's quite good. Kind of ancient, like ghost stuff. Apparently,
you think this is part of the sort of Korean folklore.
Like the numbers in that order are part of kind of Korean folklore, kind of how to summon ghosts or spirits or something. So that's good. Yeah, and I imagine that, if we were going to do this, it would have to be at night because you don't want to be constantly get people getting on and stuff. All right, what you doing? You doing an elevator game? Can I join you?
It's a lot of bollocks
now.
No, that's not the rules. There's a lot of rules for this ghost summoning, I have to say.
Well, if it was easy, then you'd be summoning ghosts all the time,
wouldn't they?
Exactly. It's got to be.
Oh, you just want to text 3 to fucking wherever, and then you just ghost dimension. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, yeah, sorry. Take a bit more effort than that. That's so.
Well, I guess that you'd have to work out what the chances are of doing that selection of numbers in that order, like randomly, what the odds are. Because it's probably quite long,
You wouldn't be staying in the lift. I mean that might happen, but you've got to stay in the lift the whole time, haven't you, by yourself? So the odds of that happening, unless you're doing it intentionally, are basically zero, aren't they?
Exactly. So that's why it's good. So I think and the crazy person coming in, that's good. The Nether Alabama. That's good. Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I think this is one of the more spooky ones. And there's loads of people doing writing about it. Most of it probably made up, but it's good stuff in it. So
it's what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 as well. Believability. So it's probably where it falls down a little.
You're right.
I mean, I think it depends what. That's where it falls down a bit. I mean, I don't. It's really hard what to think about this. Really, I'd be interested. I mean, people must have done it. People must have given it a go. So
people die on elevators every day, Chris.
Huh?
Don't you worry. People die on elevators every day.
But people must have given it a go, and it's got that nice caveat of you might just go to the first floor and then just get out. Because
here's the thing for me: if
the woman getting in on
it, that's the part where I'd shit my pants. Is when suddenly it's sort of like the woman gets in and then starts like being really weird.
Yeah,
at that point and it's too late. Then that's the bit I like.
Yeah. So, do I think? I mean, It's got the numerology stuff, the sort of old numerology stuff. So numbers could be.
But then you've just based it on that, haven't you? So.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So that could be kind of ancient knowledge of numbers being important and being able to like go to a different dimension. I don't know. It's not hugely I don't know. It's a tough one to get a grip on, really, believability wise. So I'm just going to go down the middle and give it a 5. Neil, you can go.
Fair enough. That feels probably a bit high for me, to be honest with you. So, right, let's have a think about it. So, I mean, all right. So it's been a Netflix documentary, but that was really more just tying in. Could this have happened to this poor young woman?
Yeah, it wasn't based. The documentary kind of mentioned that was one of the things which the people were kind of suggesting. Like,
they're more interested in, this is all of the sort of things surrounding
what actually, what actually happened to her. Yeah.
Like that one I did about the Slender Man.
And that hotel's like one of those hotels, like one of the murder hotels, where there's been, like, it's changed its name a few times, but it's had quite a few kind of mysterious deaths in it.
Yeah. Overlooked, gotcha. So, I should have known before going in with all the blood flowing out. But, no. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a newspaper, but really they're just reporting facts. Yeah, I mean, for me, this is the thing with a lot of these kind of like internet legend ones. As soon as your source is Reddit, my the believability just falls out the window.
Catalogue.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah, okay.
Website.
Fair enough. Anyone can set up a blog, can't they? Well, you send it to me. I'll read it tonight and get spooked. Yeah, there's nothing. The only thing that they've got to tie into this, other than some blog posts,
real website,
which people are incentivized to sort of rely on those kind of things.
See, it's a proper website.
I mean, fine, but then somebody's just emailed in then that article, haven't they?
Yeah, we could write for this if we wanted. I mean, it's not Reuters.
Yeah, it's not verified is the point I'm making. So
there's the one you sent in, Neil. 5 strong indicators he's definitely into you. Did you get paid? Did you get paid for that?
I got paid in something. You don't need to know what.
Got paid in kind, let's just say.
They strongly indicated something. I'll tell you that much. How to know you've met a wound mate because they feel like a soulmate, but okay.
Right. Now let's not get into. Let's not get into the hot content, which is on.
Let's save that for for a different. Well, you're sharing the screen here. Let's save that for a different.
Let's save that for our relationship podcast.
It's gone on far too long already. Yeah, I'm just not seeing any credible sources. So I'm going to give it a 2.
Too low. So Reach, Neil.
And also, I don't believe in ghost elevators. Reach.
More for you.
Yeah. I wonder how long this was going to... So the thing for me, I think this has probably got fairly good reach for now. Because it's on Netflix. It's
loads of YouTube stuff.
The Sun have just gotten onto that because they'll get some more clicks.
It's originally from loads of YouTube. It's originally from Korea/Japan, so global.
Yeah. So it's been around different parts of the world. I think it's kind of a bit of a viral hit, if you like. So yeah, I think reach-wise, but for me, I guess why I'm not going to go massively high is because I wonder how much life this thing will have in it.
That doesn't really matter because we're talking about now.
Yeah,
you can't predict the future. Despite your Ouija boards and magic, you can't predict the future.
Can't I?
No.
How do you know I haven't done the elevator game already and come back with knowledge that you could not ken?
I would have thought that you would have been a bit more knowledgeable if you had knowledge.
You don't know, do you?
Unless you're hiding it. And then there's nothing
I choose to share it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You're a difficult character to get.
So there you go.
To get round.
Deep Old Cove. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hedge my bets a little bit there, though. But yeah, I think because it has probably gone quite wide. I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, so I think it's got a good reach.
It ain't a Bigfoot or whatever.
Nah, it's been chatted about on Netflix and that. It's a big internet thing.
I'm sure it's huge on TikTok, Chris. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, and Snapchats and Telegram
and things.
8chan, all the cool ones.
All those other 500 alt-right fucking platforms they've put out.
But it's really big on Stormfront.
Blonde idiot can't use Twitter anymore.
I think it's a big one. I think it's got good reach. Feels like a real Gen Zeder of
absolute wanker.
So I'm going to give it a 7 as well. So Sony.
I think I've got enough of a lift into alternative dimension with some cunt. Right.
So
the other way you can do it, Chris, is you just do a podcast about it and you keep talking about the rules.
Yeah, we should do that.
And
we could do that an offshoot.
If the little blonde lady finds you utterly tedious, then she puts you into an alternative dimension.
How to bore?
Didn't even bother swearing
how
at
to
you.
Bore how to bore the ghost woman to tears with Neil and Chris. How to protect yourself from spirits by being utterly uncharismatic.
We disappeared halfway through a podcast, but it's still got loaded up by Acast for some reason.
Right. So, narrative premise. I think it's pretty good. It's got a big old narrative. It's got a good story. It's a pretty new premise of using the modern tool of the elevator / lift to enter Alabama verse, Skinnard verse. So and there's lots of people who have written about. I mean, it's good enough that plenty of people have felt there's enough there to write a story around it. I think it's it's got a strong framework. It's got good bones. So I think it's pretty good. And it's got legs. You can go where you want with it. You could say, I went out into, that no one really talks a huge amount about going out into the other world yet. So you could, I might write a story on Reddit and say, I've just returned from the other world after 3 years of being in the Skinnardverse. So
I've come through. Someone else was getting out. I got in, and then I grew up in Skinnardverse. now I'm rocking it. I rock too hard for your shitty world.
Yeah, this place is rubbish. Where's the big red cross in the sky?
Yeah.
So I think it's good. So I'm going to give it an 8 now.
Big red cross in the sky. I'm sure that was in a Terry Pratchett book or something. Anyway.
So your turn, Neil. Narrative premise.
I'm going to agree. This is one of the better ones actually, and it's a classic kind of thing like Bloody Mary or any one of those things where you do something to get yourself into a spooky situation.
Yeah, give yourself.
But the rules are, but rather than just sort of saying something in a mirror, it's one of those sort of test yourself out. But the rules are tedious enough and complicated enough that actually it's not that easy to do. So you have to find a place with 10 stories.
You got to really want to do it.
You probably have to do it at night. Yeah, so you can't just do this on the off.
And the thing is, like getting actually looking into it and trying to find a place and planning it and stuff would probably up your anticipation / spookiness levels. So it'd be probably quite a spooky one to do.
Start buying into it. Yeah, and as I say, I do really like the fifth floor woman getting on the lift. What's her game? What's she up to? What's she
an accident?
What's her motivation? We're going to do a prequel with her, Chris.
Yeah.
We're going to do, 3 series on Netflix. It's going to be like the Better Call Saul of the this stuff.
How she ended up working for Leonnard Skinnards.
Yeah. You got her bit. I think that'd be a compelling story. You've got what's going on in Skinnardverse. Yeah. I think there's plenty. Yeah, I reckon, we could... actually, I think we should sort of pitch this to, what's that awful channel where they had Dexter on?
FX?
It's Fox or FX, something like that. Yeah, any old shite they'd spin out for about 10 series. So we get Michael C. Hall involved.
Yeah.
And who could be blonde psycho lady?
Pele.
Yeah, Pele. Yeah. Pele in a wig. That's fine. Beautiful.
Playing himself.
Playing himself, yeah. Hey, you fucking cunt. That's not how Pele says.
You fucking cunt.
I think this is good. Yeah, no, I definitely think we can get a few series out of them on TV on this. So, it's going to be quite a high one for me. I think I'm going to give this an 8 for narrative.
Lovely. So that's a high score in 53. Ooh. The only bit where it really fell down was believability, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that. But, that's a good one. I enjoyed that.
Quite well done, compared to a lot of these things, they tend to be...
like Black Eyed Kids is a bit compared to this. This has been sort of, this is a bit more rounded, isn't it? I like it. And I reckon I'm going to have a look and see if there's a 9th floor building and we can we can film ourselves doing it. But like, let's avoid.
We just not make up stupid stories. Just one of these blogs.
Well, we can do that, but we could film it. But let's not do something silly
I'm
like
Pele and I come from the other world.
getting somebody who looks like Pele to get in on the 5th floor or whatever. Let's not do. Let's actually do it and see what doesn't happen.
But I want to see the prep work involved first, to be honest with you.
Well, we turn up. I record it on my phone. We fuck off.
Oh yeah, but finding a location that's and at what time.
Just look at slightly tall buildings. It's not that difficult. I'll do as with everything, Neil. I'll do the work. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
And if anyone wants to get in touch for anything, then it is herb.legends.podcast@gmail.com. And I think that's it for this week. And we will catch you on the other side. Hopefully, next pod will be from the skin.
We'll be in Skinnards by the time you hear this.
So you may or may not.
Hope to see you in the Red Shiny universe.
We may or may not be back. Goodbye.
Goodbye.